your crack.
Yeah.
What do you put, instead of dirt, what do you want to put in your crack?
Polymer sand. It has an, I can't, hold on.
You said it. I didn't say it.
Got dirt in your cracks. Well, how else can I say this?
Hey guys, I'm here today with Jeremy Wiggins with One Stop Services, and we are taking your questions. You guys sent them in last week into Instagram and Facebook and, I don't know, carrier pigeon. I don't know, y'all sent in all kinds of questions, but we chose a few, and so now we are going to answer them for you guys. And maybe I'll be able, I think they're mostly for Jeremy, but maybe I can throw in some opinions, because I am never short of opinions on every subject.
That's right.
Under the sun, so.
That's right.
Question 1, Jeremy.
Give it to me.
I don't know how to pronounce any of these screen names, that's a bad thing. Merci Plana 1.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna put these down below so you guys can see the screen names. I have pavers put in my backyard, and I'm constantly having problems with weeds popping up between the pavers. Is there any way to keep this from happening? I use the spray of Spectricide weed and grass killer, but they keep coming back. Any ideas?
Be my guess is you have dirt filled up in your cracks, and they need to get the cracks. Yeah, the cracks of the pavers. You need.
I'm sorry, I'm 5 years old. Get that dirt out of your crack.
Yeah.
What do you put, instead of dirt, what do you want to put in your crack?
Polymer sand. It has an, I can't.
I think what you're trying to say is that if the contractor puts sand in the joints of the pavers, that it probably has rinsed out and maybe some dirt has gotten in there.
Right.
And dirt is where seeds can grow and little plants can pop up. So instead of dirt, or if you had the sand previously, the solution is what?
Polymer sand. You can, it's got an adhesive in it, and you put it in there, fill in your cracks, and you put some water on it. It gets tight, and it gets to be like a bond right there, and it will not wash away.
I always describe it as a mix. So you don't want to put mortar in the joints of any kind of pavers, because it will crack for sure, because pavers are going to move a bit.
That's right.
But sand is going to wash out. So they've created this polymer sand, which is a mix of sand and almost like, well, it's polymer, which is like a rubberized type material. And when it gets wet, it kind of glues itself together, but in a loose enough way to where it can move without cracking, but also not wash with water. And so that polymer sand, if that's missing, or if the sand is missing and dirt has gone in, you probably need to wash out the dirt.
To answer her question is, I would check and see. I know they're spraying, but it probably needs to be redone in that area.
Put new polymer sand in the joints.
Down there.
So that's that question. All right.
Go to number 2.
Number 2. Let's see what we got. Any advice? This is from B.A. Shepherd. Any advice on using products like HexPave for gravel paths or gravel parking pads?
Here's my opinion. We've done them all. Concrete, pavers, gravel. You know, certain ones are going to cost a little more. Certain ones are going to cost a little less. Honestly, it's your budget. Always remember with gravel that it's not always going to stay there. Certain gravels can stay there, certain ones won't. Pea gravel being one that tends to go everywhere.
Do not use pea gravel, just don't even.
So there's certain stones and gravel out there that we could use if that was what you're wanting to go with. But honestly, it's whatever's in your budget and whatever you choose to use.
But you're saying that you had told me previously that gravel wasn't that much less expensive than concrete, really.
No, not really. Not after you add it all up and you add your labor and everything. There's not that big of a difference.
And let me just throw like the practical side of things in here too. For me, when I design and people ask me about gravel, I tend to not use it for a couple of reasons, and one being maintenance. So it might be less expensive in the beginning part, but as far as maintenance in the end and the overall look you're gonna get, gravel, if you get the right kind of gravel, which is usually like an aggregate, a limestone aggregate that will lock together really tight as you roll over it with your car a lot of times, and it'll lock down and stay in place, but it'll get moldy and mildewy and dirty, and you can't really clean it. You can't pressure wash it. And really get it clean.
Here's what I'd like to use as a comparison. Every year you're replacing pine straw, correct? Because it looks old and it looks dingy. Well, your rock's going to do the same thing. Yeah. Is it something that we can regrade?
Which your concrete does too, but you can easily pressure wash it or seal it and make it look
it's a lot easier, you know. But the gravel, you're having to actually add to it because it might be some that's left there and it's moved, or you're having to regrade it to make it look fresher.
Right. And the other thing too is that leaves get stuck in it. So like you're falling out of the trees or you're blowing them from out of the yard, the wind takes them from your neighbor's yard, even if you don't have trees, and they stick in the gravel, and then you really can't get them out, and they end up kind of I don't know. It just doesn't end up looking neat and clean. So those are a couple reasons. I guess budget really is ultimately it.
At the end of the day, that's what.
At the end of the day, it's a budget issue.
That's right.
But just know what you're getting yourself into as far as long-term maintenance, care,
That's
and
correct.
the overall look that you're going for.
That's right.
Okay, we could go on it for days. All right, question number 3. We'll do this one. How do you kill weeds?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a
I'll
big
be,
question, huh?
Yeah. I have people out there that if I say Roundup, they're going to think I'm killing myself and their kids, you know. But there's things out there that can be used, you know. And
Give us an overall general, like, let's say it's a landscape bed, not a lawn, but a landscape bed.
if you go out there and you have weeds everywhere, number one, you're going to have to pull the weeds. Don't think you're going to be able to kill the weeds. You need to pull them. Then put a pre-emergent in there.
Which we talked about pre-emergents.
There are pre-emergents everywhere. You know, you can go to your local garden centers, wherever, and get a decent pre-emergent that you put in there that's going to help prevent the weeds. But it is not going to stop the weeds. Weeds are generally going to still come back. You still will have to do maintenance. Now, if you stay on top of your pre-emergents and your herbicides, you can keep it maintained. But that is a constant. You will have to go out there and keep an eye on it and maybe do some labor, or you call me or another landscaper or a lawn care guy and they do the maintenance for you, and we can put you on a schedule.
Yeah, because really trying to hit it before it gets bad is the best thing.
You know, as
once it's bad, you're kind
like
of,
we talk about with landscape jobs, you know, everybody wants low maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, weeds, unfortunately, the only way to keep them low
ongoing.
maintenance is you got to stay on top of it with your herbicides, you know, and pulling it out.
And really, for you, the homeowner, it's going to be more expensive for you to have someone take care of it once they're big than to have them maintain it for the long run. You know, back to the whole practicality of how to tackle these things. You're either going to put a bunch of money up front or disperse it out over time so that these guys can take care of it
That's right.
before, and then it'll look better all the time, and you don't have this crazy thing that you're having to tackle once every year or something. So, okay, I think this is the last question here. How much, I love this question. This is from K4224. How much info and what info do we share and first reach out to contractor? So when somebody's contacting you for a job, what information do you like to know from a homeowner? I love that question. That's very thoughtful.
First thing I want to ask is, you know, I don't never like to ask anybody about their budget. You know what I mean? Because let's get into what we really want here. You know what I mean? Because it might be an opportunity out there of something that they thought was expensive.
Yeah.
And I tell them it's more budget friendly than they thought. But number one, what helps out more than anything is have a plan. You know what you want. You know, I can go out there and give you all these ideas and recommendations, but we'll keep going back to the drawing board and going back to the drawing board. And if we're at that point, I think you need to call Catherine. You know what I mean? We'll call a designer.
Yeah.
You know, they'll give you great ideas. That's what they do.
So what you're saying is what I preach all the time, which is that contractors are not designers, and it really makes their life easier if you come either with a plan already done for them to do,
correct.
or know exactly what you want. Like if you're already knowledgeable, like you want a jar fountain here, you want a new carport there, maybe you don't need a plan, but he needs to know exactly what you want, because contractors are not designers, and all they want to do is bid the job and install it for you so you can enjoy it.
Well, it makes it, to be fair with everybody and all the landscapers, you know, you can go out there on bids and you'll have a design, but the other person's design could possibly be different that you're putting in.
And it'll be less, their drawing is less expensive just because it has less stuff, and yours costs more.
That's right.
And you're not really bidding apples to apples. So having that plan also, back to that whole like overall just having a plan in the long term, it's going to be better for you to have a plan already set in place so that you know that everybody's bidding apples to apples, and it's not this like yours is a $2,000 plan and theirs is a $10,000 plan.
That's correct.
So
yeah, be prepared. When I come, you know what I mean, understand that if you're looking at a big project, understand that there could be cost in that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
having a plan in the long run, guys, is going to save you money, because it's going to make sure that there's not changes in the end and all this kind of stuff. Changes cost you a lot of money, so making sure that you have a plan from the get-go is going to end up saving you money over the long run.
All right.
So anyway, okay, I think that's all of our questions. Thank you guys so much for sending them in. If you guys have any more questions, comment below and we'll do more of these, because I think it helps us know exactly what you guys need from us, answering your questions directly from social media. So All right, y'all comment below. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks.